everyone, welcome to Mr. U's Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Bumblebee, which is a spin-off of the Transformers franchise. This film takes place in the 1980s and builds up a backstory for Bumblebee. After Bumblebee crashes on Earth, Charlie, played by Haley Steinfeld, finds him. During all this though, Agent Burns is trying to look for Bumblebee, and this starts an adventure between Charlie and Bumblebee. And the last couple Transformers movies I thought were pretty mediocre. They weren't anything too special, and for the most part they were just mindless action scenes. You didn't really care for the characters that much. So I was kind of skeptical going into this film, but I actually really enjoyed it. First, let's talk about the acting. I thought Haley Steinfeld as Charlie was pretty good. Her character has an emotional past, which I won't spoil, so it could have been pretty hard for maybe other actresses to play the part, but I thought Haley Steinfeld did really good. And also, John Cena as Agent Burns did surprisingly good. He's from WWE, he's a wrestler, so I would think his acting might be a little bit iffy, but I mean, I believed him as this government agent trying to find Bumblebee, so. Also, Jorge Lendenborg Jr. did a pretty good job as Memo. And Memo is Charlie's friend who also joins on the adventure with Bumblebee. I think, his character was fun to see. He was kind of like the character who's like shocked with all the new things, like seeing this car turn into this big robot. I think all around the acting was pretty good. Now let's move on to the directing. Travis Knight, who directed this film, also directed Kubo and the Two Strings, and that film was a stop motion animation film where they get dolls and then they kind of film it picture by picture to make it look like it's moving. So this was kind of a different type of film for Travis Knight to move on to, since Bumblebee, this film is live action. And I think he did a really good job, especially with the action scenes. So, if they were ever to make some sort of sequel to this film or another Transformers spin-off, I think he'd be a good man to do it. Let's talk about the CGI. CGI is really important for these Transformers films, so the viewer won't be taken out of the film if the CGI is really bad and the Autobots and Bumblebee doesn't look realistic. And I thought this film did a very well done job with the CGI. I believe that Bumblebee was really there. He looked cool, he had a cool design. I think they did a really good job for this film. A big flaw with this film though is with the villains. The main villains are two Decepticons, which are the evil Transformers, who are also trying to find Bumblebee. But throughout the film they just come off as throwaway villains who, they're just supposed to be evil, but there's really no backstory for them or nothing to flesh them out in any way. So I wish that was a little bit better. Overall, I thought Bumblebee was pretty enjoyable. There was some cool characters, great acting, really nice CGI. Overall, it was pretty enjoyable. My big flaw, as I've said before, was just with the villains. And that's why I give Bumblebee a B+. I recommend Bumblebee, especially if you are looking for a fun time at the movies. And as always, don't forget your popcorn. Until next time, from Mr. U to you, stay tuned.